The Santhal Rebellion, also known as the Santhal Hool, was a significant uprising in Indian history. It took place in 1855 to 56 against both the British colonial administration and the local zamindars, or landlords. The Santhals, a tribal people of eastern India, rose up against the oppression and exploitation they faced. The rebellion was a testament to their courage and desire for freedom. The Santhals fought bravely, but their resistance was eventually crushed by the superior firepower of the British. The Santhals were traditionally forest dwellers. They practiced their own distinct form of agriculture. The arrival of the British East India Company and the introduction of the permanent settlement in 1793 disrupted their lives. The permanent settlement led to the displacement of many Santhals from their land. They were forced to become labourers on land that was once theirs. They were also subjected to heavy taxation and forced labour under the British administration. The Santhal Rebellion holds a significant place in the history of India's struggle for independence. It is remembered as a symbol of resistance against British colonialism and the exploitative zamindari system. The rebellion had a profound impact on the social and political landscape of the region. It also forced the British to re-evaluate some of their policies. The Santhal Rebellion was a complex event with far-reaching consequences. It demonstrated the resilience of the indigenous population in the face of colonial rule. This essay will delve into the causes, events, and aftermath of the Santhal Rebellion, shedding light on this important chapter of Indian history. The Santhal Rebellion was not a spontaneous uprising. It was the culmination of years of growing discontent among the Santhal people. The British East India Company's policies, particularly the introduction of the permanent settlement, had a devastating impact on the Santhals' traditional way of life. The permanent settlement, introduced in 1793, aimed to establish a system of land revenue collection in Bengal. It declared zamindars as the owners of the land. They were given the right to collect revenue from the cultivators. This system led to the dispossession of many Santhals from their ancestral lands. They were forced to become tenants or labourers on land they once owned. The zamindars, often outsiders, exploited the Santhals ruthlessly. They imposed high rents, illegal levies, and forced labour. The Santhals, unfamiliar with the intricacies of the new revenue system, found themselves trapped in a cycle of debt and poverty. They were often forced to mortgage or sell their land to moneylenders at exorbitant interest rates. This further aggravated their economic woes. The British legal system also proved to be inaccessible and biased against the Santhals. They had little recourse to justice when faced with exploitation and oppression at the hands of the zamindars and moneylenders. The Santhals' traditional systems of governance and dispute resolution were undermined, leaving them feeling powerless and marginalized. The combination of economic hardship, social humiliation, and political marginalization created a sense of deep resentment among the Santhals towards the British and the zamindari system. This resentment eventually boiled over into open rebellion. The Santhal Rebellion was ignited on June 30th, 1855, when two Santhal brothers, Sidhu and Kanhu Murmu, rose up against their oppressors. They mobilized their fellow Santhals, inspiring them to fight for their rights and freedom. The Murmu brothers claimed to have received divine revelations calling upon them to liberate their people. The rebellion spread like wildfire across the Santhal Parganas and adjoining districts. Armed with traditional weapons like bows and arrows, the Santhals attacked the symbols of their oppression, the houses of zamindars, moneylenders, and government buildings. They targeted those who they perceived as responsible for their misery. The initial success of the Santhals took the British by surprise. The colonial administration, caught off guard, struggled to contain the rebellion's rapid spread. The Santhals' guerrilla tactics, their knowledge of the terrain, and their unwavering determination proved to be a formidable challenge for the British troops. One of the key events of the rebellion was the proclamation issued by the Santhal leaders. This proclamation declared the end of British rule and the establishment of a Santhal Raj. It called upon all Santhals to unite and fight for their independence. The rebellion reached its peak between August and October 1855. The Santhals controlled a large swathe of territory. They established their own system of administration in some areas. However, their lack of modern weapons and their limited resources ultimately proved to be their downfall. The British government responded to the Santhal Rebellion with brutal force. They deployed large contingents of troops, including units from the British Indian Army, to crush the uprising. The Santhals, outmatched in terms of weaponry and resources, fought bravely but were ultimately defeated. The suppression of the rebellion was marked by widespread violence and brutality. Villages were burnt, crops were destroyed, and countless Santhals were killed or captured. The rebellion officially ended on January 3, 1856, with the capture of key Santhal leaders, including Sidhu and Kanhu Murmu. The Santhal Rebellion had a profound impact on the British colonial administration. It exposed the flaws in their policies and the extent of the discontent among the indigenous population. In an attempt to appease the Santhals and prevent future uprisings, the British government introduced some reforms. In 1855, the British government created a separate administrative unit called the Santhal Parganas. This was intended to provide some degree of autonomy to the Santhals and protect their rights. The government also passed laws prohibiting the transfer of land from Santhals to non-Santhals to prevent further land alienation. The Santhal Rebellion, while ultimately unsuccessful in its immediate objectives, left an indelible mark on the history of India's struggle against colonial rule. It served as a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression and exploitation. The memory of the rebellion continued to inspire later generations of freedom fighters. The rebellion also highlighted the importance of unity and solidarity among the oppressed. It showed that even the most marginalized communities could rise up against injustice and fight for their rights. The Santhal Rebellion continues to be commemorated in Santhal communities and beyond as a testament to the spirit of resistance and the enduring human desire for freedom.